welcome to the session. I'm Rob Litjens. I'm working for a Dutch financial institute, a big one. I'm a database engineer. At least I've been working with database since 1997, 1998 or something like that. So quite long in the industry. Maybe you can see it on the gray hairs already. Yeah, I'm happy to be here at Data Toboggan 2023 to see if we can, if I can tell you something about the things we as a bank need to do for protecting our data. I'm not allowed to show you anything of the bank itself, so I've rebuilt everything, simplified it a bit. So I hope you you will enjoy the session, and let's see. So I do want to talk to you about what is defense in depth, because that's the main part of what we do, of course. The role of defender, what it can do for you, what you need to do to run a defender for SQL on premise. What's a typical implementation? Yeah, some evidence, and I hope we do have some time for questions, and there's an about me sheet that's at the end. So I'll leave all the commercial stuff out of it. So let's do the normal things. So what is defense in depth? Defense in depth means, in fact, that you're bringing layers into your security, and those layers consist of various items. Of course, we have physical things like entrances, etc. But I'm not talking about that stuff. I think every company has arranged something about that. There should be no database in a cupboard or whatever. So I'm talking about some things like network security as part of the defense in depth. That means you're bringing your applications to segments where only the application can talk to each other outside of what we normally do need for running a server in a network environment. Another thing what needs to be done is access management, and then I'm not talking about how to get to your, well, I'm talking to how to get to your database. It's about all the multi-factor authentications we do, if we need to do. We're talking about MFA for admins, for example, the work we do. We need to go via jump servers and a product called CyberArk, for example, to go there. That makes sure that our accounts, we don't know the passwords anymore. So it's simplified a little bit for us sometimes, at least it looks like it, but it's not always. We do MFA for DevOps teams. That means all the DevOps teams get a subset of maximum permissions. There's no sysadmin anymore in the roles they can get, at least not for all the applications. There are exceptions, of course, but that's it. And what will follow is something like MFA for applications, which means applications can get a token to get access to your database. That's one of those requirements we do, of course. Threat protection is another layer of stuff. Threat protection contains of two things. It's threat management, so meaning injections, brute force attacks, how to prevent them or how to block them. Another one in the same area is vulnerability management, which means you have to run, you have to make sure that you run the latest CUs, cumulative updates or service packs, or you're running on one of the latest versions, let's call it that way. And of course, you have information protection itself. That means you have to make sure that your data, you as a consumer of a customer or user of our services, you have to make sure that you give just enough permissions to your company or to your application to make sure that they have access to the database. And that all depends, of course, on the customer data. Which, yeah, and I'm not talking something really strange, I think. we try to disallow access to the tables itself and only grant access by using store procedures and permissions on these things. That's hard, and not all applications can do that. But if they can do, they make sure that the data is more safe than giving straight access to the applications. Strange enough, internally built applications can easily do this, and every bought application, there are some holes in their applications which create dynamic SQL statements to do things. But like I said, we're talking a bit about Defender stuff. In this case, Defender is a tool belt of Microsoft containing various products. Like I said, it's doing threat and vulnerability management. That's the normal Defenders. It does some attack surface reductions, next gen antivirus. You know, we all know the Defender on the Windows servers. I think it's good enough to protect some basic stuff. Adding endpoint protection to the Windows server makes it more resilient to also to being abused by people. What Defender also adds to that is, of course, all the threat stuff, like adding the SIM logging EDR, I think it's called. So there's some stuff going on there. By the way, let's go back to the sheet. Tools we have. Defender products can protect your Active Directory, can protect your endpoint, can protect your identities in the and nowadays it's also that we do have Defender for databases, and Defender for databases is something which can run in the cloud, of course. Every deployment you do with an Azure SQL database can require to have Defender enabled. I think for what we as a financial institute do is we require that Defender is enabled on these databases. I'm not sure if that's something which is common in the world at the moment, but at least we do that. Yeah, like I said, it's a whole suite. It does protect Windows. It does protect Linux also. So it's good that there's one tool which can protect your whole estate. In fact, well, we do have some. If you are going to enroll Defender for your SQL environments, you need to have some stuff there. Of course, you need to have an Azure tenant. That's quite obvious. It is nice if you have some bicep knowledge, but there are some really good examples out on the internet which do create a subscription, which do create the log analytics workspace, etc. I do show them also in some of the codes, in some of the pieces of code I do have for you. Of course, you need to have SQL servers on premise, which should have the endpoint protection installed, and which should have access to the cloud, so to the Azure things. What's not supported in Defender for SQL, it's SQL 2012 and below, and all the other services which consist of SQL, so no reporting services and no analysis services. Integration services is the database is part of at least from as of 2016. This database is part of the SQL environment, so of the database engine. So it depends which version you are using, where you can get some extra details about. Okay, what are we going to do? I'm going to connect to my tenant. I'm setting up a resource group, creating a log analytics workspace. I'm configuring the workspace a little bit, and we are going to configure a client. And that's what we are going to do for now. By the way, are there already any questions or not? I don't think so. Huh? I consider that a no. So if you are going to create a resource group, you have to code a few lines in Bicep. Bicep is something you can really it's easy to learn. It's a desired state thing. So if you change something, it will not break all the stuff, but it will add it or remove it. Depends on what you want to say there. So the resource group is quite simple. It's really like this. The resource group, yeah, give it a name, and the location is something you can put on top. So West Europe is something there. If you look at the local analytics workspace that for Sentinel, because I'm also configuring Sentinel in this part, it consists of two parts. If you look at this area, this is the normal workspace, and I'm connecting the workspace to the location, which is West Europe in this case. And if you look at this, for example, the per GB 2018, that means I'm using a pay-as-you-go subscription. I don't have any more, so at this moment. So let's see how it proceeds there. And this is the part which you need to add for Sentinel, for the Sentinel part, and connecting the Sentinel solution, because that it's a solution which you add to the local analytics workspace. So how does it look like if you are in the environment? We're going to do this live, by the way, in a few seconds. So if you want to set it up, you have to go to the environment settings in the Defender for Cloud, and you have to collapse all the items up until you are at your local analytics workspace, and there you can configure some values. So some demo. Let's see if I can bring it up. Yep, I think you still see the demo. Yeah. So yesterday when I was trying this out, when I was making a try out of this, I found out, you need to use a parameter file at the moment because there is a bug in Bicep at the moment. So that makes that made a little change on all the items. So I have two files, the ones I showed you in the previous presentation. So the resource group, and I'm having a new name here. That's resource group 002, and it's located in West Europe. If you want to create a parameter file, and the most easy way you can do that is right click and say generate parameters file, and it does it for you. So also what you can see in here is there is the option deploy Bicep file. It's for me as a really non-coder, it's really easy to say, okay, let's do that. And it says something like, okay, it's the create resource group. It's just a deployment thing. The location, I said it's West Europe because I'm living in the Netherlands, and that's really close. Let's call it that way. And I can use the parameter file which I used recently, and yep, there it goes. It says it's created successfully. So I'm going to bring that up. So, and I go to the resource groups, and I would see, I would love to see two resource groups. And that's the toboggan, which I created yesterday, and that's the Turbo 2. And the Turbo 2 has nothing in it, but that's as expected because we didn't create the local analytics workspace yet. So, like I said, also the file for the local analytics workspace, it's it's targeted at the resource group. It has a West Europe as the location and Sentinel string. Can this be done easier? Oh yeah, it can be done much easier and can be done much more complex. So I'll keep it this way at the moment because it's really readable for me at the moment. So yeah, this is what I said. This is the standard workspace you create. This is the base of what you need before you put it into before you can connect the Sentinel solution to it. There's a resource group for the Sentinel thing here, which is also using the solution name, which is security insights, including the $Sentinel workspace name, which is the location Sentinel unique string resource group ID. That's something taken over, and it gives a nice name which leads to something which can be useful. And that's what you need to the solution you need to implement in here is the security insights. And security insights is in fact that's the local analytics or the cloud defender for cloud stuff which you want to see. If you look at this, you will see. I don't know if there are people familiar with this OMS. Do people know what it is? It's the old, well, old. It is a scum way of doing things. So it's the operation manager stuff which was there that had an agent already. That's also why it is possible to connect your on-prem stuff to this. So I'm going to deploy it. Easy way, 3 times next, and then there you go. Deployment succeeded. And if I'm bringing up this one, and I'll say refresh, I will see that there is the log analytics workspace in here. And it has, of course, nothing into it. Yeah, okay, so now let's go back. One of the next important things we need to have is the Defender for Cloud setup. You need to set up an analytics workspace connected to your cloud to make sure that that the alerts you are generating are being put through from the local analytics workspace, at least into Defender for Cloud. And in a later stage, you can also connect that to Sentinel. For connecting Defender for Cloud to Sentinel, you need to have an AAD2 account. So you have to pay extra for that kind of stuff. Like I said, unfortunately, my Maps account doesn't allow that. So I'm looking for a solution to demonstrate that a bit better for the future. If you look at the moment, you will see there are 2 security alerts here. In fact, it's only one. That's one from which I did yesterday. But we're going to create a new one just because it's fun to do. If you go to the configuration, like I said, you have to go to the environment settings. You have the Azure, you have the tenant group, and there's your pay-as-you-go subscription like I have. And you can click that and you can say, okay, this is the Turbo 2, and there's nothing implemented. So what I can do in here is I can say, okay, I can enable all the plans, and I'll press save. And what now happens is that every item there is being pushed through. So, okay. Well, for connecting a server to your local analytics workspace, you have to go into the you have to find out some details because you need to have a workspace ID and an encryption key. For doing that, you can go into the into the Sentinel, you can go to the into the log analytics workspace. Sorry, then you can go to the agents. At the agents, you will see there's this one. There's no one connected, but if you collapse this one, you will find how to download the agent. So you can download the agent, 64-bit or the 32-bit. I hope everybody is using 64-bit and not 32. And here you have a workspace ID and a primary key, but also a secondary key. The secondary key is something you can use, for example, to say, okay, I want to have somebody else also being able to add other types of services to the same analytics workspace, but I don't want to give him my ID because I don't know what. There's not a real good reason, in my opinion, why the secondary key is here at the moment. But the good thing is also you can just press regenerate and you get a new one. And that can be, and that's if you want to disconnect all your existing agents and set them up new, then you can do it like this. So I have prepared two VMs. One is a SQL 2022, and that's this one. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. It doesn't have the MMA agent configured at the moment, but it's running SQL 2022, and there is a test database on it, and I created a login. I'll show you later on why I created a login. I want to see if I can mess up with Microsoft a little bit, because they created a brute force attack and using this account. And I think the account doesn't have a password. So this one is an account without a password. But it's on my running on my own server, so it doesn't harm anyone at the moment. So how do you install the agent? Yeah, it's double clicking on the executable. You say next, I agree, and that's the path where you install the stuff. And so you connect the agent to the Azure Log Analytics, the OMS, so that's the connection already to the Log Analytics workspace, where you saw that the OMS gallery solution was used. So that's what we're doing here. And I say next, and that's the place where I get the question about the workspace ID and the other thing. So I'm picking the account. The other thing is here you have to present Azure, or you have to select Azure Commercial, because we're not in the nationalities of America or whatever. So that's what we have to choose, and we don't need to use a proxy thing. If you're worried about connecting your database service straight to the cloud over an express route or whatever, you can always install the proxy thing. It will collect and send through. That will cost some bandwidth also, by the way. So there's no reduction on bandwidth because of this, but it's just just some extra hurdle to take to get your data in the cloud. So I'll press install, and now it installs the stuff. Copying some new files, and there it goes. Oh, by the way, I'm connecting them to the one to the thing I created yesterday. So don't worry, it all works. So you can do the import module, and if you look at this, you will see all the test items you can do to verify that your stuff is working. And running these is just as simple as test SQL ATP brute force and see what happens. Okay. Well, it failed, it says, but it's trying. Okay, so let's see what we can find there. If you go to the management log of this machine, and you go to the server logs, you will see that you will find these items in here also. So it means that it's already reported back to at least to your security log that it was a brute force attack. This is also how you can see it without Defender, by the way. So it's just an extra step. And if you go back to the cloud, let's go here and we go to Defender for SQL, and we will see that there is. Let's go back to the to the log analytics workspace. This one, and the agents. You will see we have now. We should have two servers here. Come on. Come on. It takes some time before it registers quite fast. Before it registers, because probably it is because I'm on a pay-as-you-go, and that's the slowest thing you can find. Ah, there it is. Now we see two servers in here. You see that there is the you can identify the names from these. Yeah, there it is. We have the Tobo SQL 2022, the Tobo SQL 2019. The Tobo 2019 is one I used yesterday for some stuff. So if we now go back to the Defender for Cloud, so okay, let's do it. By the way, what you saw there, the code to get it above the amount of servers is KQL. So it's really useful to look at these items. Let's see. I don't see any new ones at the moment. Oh, we're just going to do it again. Just gonna do the brute force again. So this is 2019. Let's pick the 2022 because that's this one. Okay. And of course we can do the SQL ATP injection minus username user 97. That doesn't work. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Don't mind. We should have some results now. I'm waiting for some email on one side because you get mails about it. Refresh. Come on. But at least I'll show you the other ones when they come in. What you see is something like this. Okay, really helpful description, what it is. I just got this one. Suspicious activity in your resource. And it was on the Tobo SQL 2022. And it was detected by Microsoft. As you go, the alert ID, blah, blah, blah. And then you can click on the see the full alert. And then I need to pick this one. And you will see what it is, where it comes from. So the IP is 127.0.0.1 because, of course, it's localhost. And like I said, it's a full description of what the brute force detection was done. If you go back and go to, I think it's, I'm not sure if I do see that. Let's go back here. We should have at least two security alerts. So one from today and one from yesterday. So this is the new one. Another thing which we can look is if we do see something in Sentinel, and I'll pick this one. There's no alerts coming in at the moment now. That's because my account is not. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, yeah, well, we've seen the stuff. That it works. You get the incident. So the proof was delivered also. This was from the Turbo 2019, but you saw that the one for 2022, SQL 2022 came in same way. There is a difference if you look at how it works on SQL 2019, 2022, and 2016 and 2014. For 2016 and 2014, you will see that there is an extra audit in the audits. I don't have a SQL 2016 present at the moment, but what you see there is there's a SQL threat detection audit enabled, and yeah, that shows. Yeah, that's configured the same way as all the other ones also do. Yeah, questions. If you have any questions, you know, some socials about me. That's how you can connect me. Use it. Yeah, like I said, I've been working with the Defender stuff quite a while now. I'm quite happy with it. Another reason why we choose for the Defender stuff is that it integrates with all the other Active Directory items and stuff, and that brings in value to the Sentinel things together with the identity stuff on Defender.